up, everybody? And what is up, everybody? Oh man, it's been ridiculous. Ever since Fury beat Wilder, everybody's just been dogging Wilder for the most part. Floyd Mayweather tries throwing his 2 cents in. It's like, oh yeah, I'll train you. I was like, but you're supposed to actually fight. Like that's what he needs to do. He needs to actually fight. So Mayweather, probably not the best person. Antonio Tarver threw his 2 cents in, and a lot of people giving him grief as well. And aside from I said because he tried putting in for an immediate rematch. I was like, no, you shouldn't do that. It's like we just finished one. They fought. They both had one challenger. Like in between this one, like one or two challengers in between, like both of them, and then they fought again. Okay, that's how that should be done. I don't believe in immediate rematches. This isn't professional wrestling. Nobody was really robbed or anything like that in this particular situation. So you need to just, like give it some time, especially over the fact that since Wilder lost, that means he's no longer a world champion. Therefore, he has nothing to offer to go up against Fury again. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua is still holding the rest of the undisputed title hostage. And now I wouldn't be surprised if the IBO title is finally recognized as part of because the IBO is making such a big thing. So many champions, so many prominent champions have been IBO world champion. It's like I don't know why it's not a part of the undisputed title yet. But something even more disturbing I come to find. Nobody's trying to be undisputed anymore. All these junior weight classes, you got guys like Manny Pacquiao. It turns out I gave Floyd Mayweather too much credit saying that he was world champion in 5 different weight classes. Like nobody done that before. And Manny Pacquiao's been champion in 8 different weight classes. He holds the Guinness World Record of the most weight classes holding world titles. And none of them were undisputed. Oscar De La Hoya tried to say that it's more impressive to win in a bunch of different weight classes than to just be dominant in one. He was never undisputed. Great boxer, but apparently never undisputed. And when then tries moving up to middleweight to go up against Bernard Hopkins, who was the current undisputed champion and lost. It's like, come on, people. Like the whole purpose of being champion was because that was to prove that no ifs, ands, or buts, you were the best in the world. At that point, right then and there was nobody better than you. Now because there's so many legitimate world titles, whether they're considered major or not, there's so many different world titles, everything's all about money, nobody cares about saying that they're the best. As long as they got fans. As long as, like Mayweather, who he just said he's the best in the world, so a bunch of idiots just jump on board saying that, oh yeah, he's the best in the world. He's like, oh yeah, look at, show you this picture. Oh yeah, he's undisputed. He's never been undisputed. Oh, but look at that. Look at all those belts. Like 7 different WBC belts. That means they're all from different weight classes, all WBC belts. 3 of them were for the same weight class. So what? You're not telling me anything. You have no argument for stuff like this. And it's we finally, within the heavyweight division, we finally have the opportunity, because you only got two guys holding all the major belts. So if one of them could just unify all the major belts, like this hasn't happened. Like this hasn't happened. This didn't happen because I guess the Klitschko brothers held most of the belts. The other, but they were split between the two of them. Then Tyson Fury won the lineal champion off of Vladimir, and the linear championship off of Vladimir, and retired. Then comes back, fights Joshua. Has a couple fights. Wins them all. Just finished beating Wilder, not Joshua, and now Anthony Joshua lost his titles, won them back. But why is Wilder trying to step back in? Wilder, you lost your belts. Go after Joshua. Take his belts, then go back after Fury. Because it makes no sense for anybody else. Like, there's no reason for, if you're holding a world title, and especially if you're holding the big four that constitutes being undisputed, there is no reason whatsoever, unless the titles are vacated, there is no reason whatsoever for any champion to go after anybody that is not another champion. I'm sick of seeing all these different world classes in the same freaking weight class. This is why I quit watching boxing. Because you don't know who the real champ is. And regardless of who everybody says, oh, it's the best or whatever, there's always somebody better. There's always somebody with a different belt. There's always somebody with a different record. With better stats, better records, there's no reason why champions are, like, there's so many different champions. When Mike Tyson became undisputed champion, it was because HBO decided to hold a tournament to unify all the titles. You don't see this anymore. And all these other little world championships keep popping up. This is infuriating, to say the least. This is infuriating. Because I'm sorry, when Mike Tyson was the undisputed champion, right? Going into the 90s, it was such a big deal. It was such a big deal to unify all the titles. It was such a big deal to do that. It ain't about that anymore. It's not about that anymore. Even if Floyd, I don't care how much money Floyd Mayweather weighed, he was never undisputed. And for somebody who claims to be the best in the world, then why couldn't you take the rest? Why couldn't you just take the rest of any of the 5 weight classes? Why couldn't you take the other titles from any of those 5 weight classes? I mean, hell, you did what? Your first world championship, the WBC title, you defended that 8 times or something like that. But defended that title 8 times, didn't even think about trying to be undisputed. Why? Who were the champions at that time? Were the belts vacant? Who were the champions at that time that he didn't try going after them? That he never fought them? Who were they? Pacquiao. Same question. Oscar De La Hoya. Same question. Who were the champions at that time that you were too busy moving up in weight classes, taking belts in different weight classes, instead of establishing your dominance in one weight class before moving up to the next one and possibly winning that as well? Okay, you're very decorated, this, that, the other. Got a bunch of shiny new things to play with. Now what? You were never the best. You were never the absolute best. At least Mike Tyson had that to his credit. There was no other world champion better than him at that time. Every time somebody went, and even up to Lennox Lewis, there was nobody better than Lennox Lewis at that time. You don't see that anymore. The whole purpose of the champ is to say that you're the best. I understand why these different world titles started coming out was because so many different so many different champions wouldn't give certain fighters a title shot because they were afraid or something like that. And of course, with the sanctioning body at the time, which the oldest world title is the World Boxing Alliance, the WBA title, oldest boxing championship. If they wouldn't sign off on a certain guy, on a certain challenger being able to have a title shot, so what happened? Another sanctioning body was born, created a new world title, and gave that challenger that would never get a title shot. Then he won, and it's like, oh no, this guy he's our world champion. You keep your world champion, we'll have our world champion. And this trend continued to God knows how many actual legitimate world titles there are. There was in the movie The Fighter, the title that Mark Wahlberg wins at the end is the WBU championship, the World Boxing Union. I don't even know if they're still around. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that whole sanctioning body and therefore that title has been defunct. So I don't things like that. And right now, like I said, the IBO seems to be coming up in the world because of Anthony Joshua, because of other fighters that have held the IBO title. I'm shocked that it's not currently part of the undisputed picture. And whoever unifies the WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBF titles, the three titles that Anthony Joshua has on top of the WBO title, I meant to say WBA, WBO, and IBF title, whoever unifies those with the WBC title, whether it be Anthony Joshua, whether it be Tyson Fury, the IBO championship is coming along with it, and that might be what it takes to make the IBO now. Now it's official. To be undisputed champion, you need to unify these 5 championships, which I'm perfectly fine with, except for the fact that let's take them all. It's like I want to know how many actual legitimate world titles there are. I don't care if they're major. I want whoever unifies these other belts, whoever becomes the official undisputed champion, clear out every other title. Beat the hell, put your belts on the line, belts for belts. Everybody, whoever comes out on top, that is truly undisputed. Either that, or somebody with a crap ton of money just buy out all these sanctioning bodies. Force us to have one champion again. That way, we don't have this Mayweather nonsense. We don't have this Pacquiao nonsense. We don't have this, these junior weight classes moving up in weight, moving down in weight, winning titles in all these different weight classes, and never actually being the best in each weight class. I'm done talking. You guys have a good night.